Anik has kind of covered off a lot of what we think about the performance in this game. I want your thoughts here on the Ollie situation. Do you see enough people? Do you think enough people are going to give the man credit, beating a team that up until a week ago were being regarded as one of the best teams in the league so far this season? Does Ollie deserve credit, even though most people want to see him fired?
No, you give him credit for the game. He got it right. The lineup people were complaining about, but we end up winning the game, and that's all that really matters right now. United need points. We're complaining that we're in 15th, but yet we want us to lose. It makes no sense. So we got the points to take us further to the table. That's what really matters. But for me, it's still like I'm still deflated, even though we won, because I know that it's just the cycle still continuing. These idiots that are in charge ain't gonna do what they really want to do, which is get rid of Ollie and bring in Poch. Do it no matter what happens. Do it anyway. But because they're so incompetent when it comes to football, they're gonna wait. And I'm just like, what's the point?
That's a great point there, KJ. And that's a great point. I'm going to go to Aaron next on this, who was very vocal about the starting lineup before it came out. Ollie not learning from his mistakes. This is interesting because if he'd have lost today, I think most of us would agree he was going to be sacked. If they now keep him in his job because he's won today, doesn't that prove to what we were saying to you the other night, that this board is a bigger problem than Ollie? Because if he's not good enough yesterday, he can't be good enough today after one win.
It does confirm what you guys were saying about the board. And yeah, I'm not in a bad mood, by the way. I'm happy we won.
But we're still deflated. We're still deflated. The mood is not great. And it's understandable. It's understandable.
Yeah, because that loss against Istanbul, that was just, it was unacceptable, man. And it's not so much, you can lose games, innit? Like, that's fine. We can lose games. It happens to anyone. It happens to the best team in the world as well. But it's the way you lose, innit? But yeah, like Neek said, we're deflated still from that loss, because it hurts, innit? It hurts at the end of the day. We're fans of, we wanted to see our team do well. But on the game today, you can't argue that even though we won it, we're happy. It's still a very weird feeling because those who won him out, and I include myself in it, I'm happy that we won, but I'm still like, yeah, but that buys him time now. If we win against West Brom after the international break, and after that we got City and we get smacked again, we're back to square one. Do you know what I mean? So it's,
Aaron,
it's a bit of, do you know what I mean?
Great point there, but that's where my focus is, the board. Because if they knew what they were doing, they would just, it's not Ollie's fault if they keep him in power when he isn't good enough. It's their decision. He is not going to sack himself, and why the hell should he?
I tweeted just before the match. I said Ollie's job shouldn't be dependent on a win or a loss against Everton. A decision should be made regardless of that. Whether you want to keep him, whether you want to get rid of him, this result should not be dependent. And I just feel that it is dependent on it. So it's just like, when we're going to be back here again in the next 90 minutes if it don't go well. It's just I'm happy. But
Cam, I want to come to you I want to speak Bruno Fernandes for a moment here, because obviously you were quite vocal in the group chat last night. And listen, this isn't, I love culture, Cam. I think his opinions are great, and people have got to not take him out of context. He was very much giving constructive criticism towards Bruno. It's the responses from his video that I was more reacting to. People talking about Bruno like he's some sort of stat padding freak. And I just think to myself, this guy has not only, this isn't the first time he's done for us today what he's done for us today. Like, he hasn't scored a brace in every game and got an assist in every single game. But it was just the way he pressed, his tenacity, his aggression, his anger. And of course, he's going to lose the ball more than other people because the man takes risks. The man takes risks. But look what his risks led to today. I mean, how impressed were you with Bruno Fernandes? And why do you think certain Man United fans are heaping so much negativity upon his name?
It's because there's that section of fans. Like, I can't get behind the slander of a player who, since he's been in the Prem, not just on our team, in the Prem, has been probably the best player in the Prem, if we're going to be honest. Like, if you look at the numbers, if you look at how he plays, what kills me about the fan base is before we had a Bruno Fernandes, we were always talking about our players not being brave enough, not taking chances, not being creative. We were always talking about that. That was always the thing. Now we have a player who takes chances almost every time he gets the ball. He looks up, he looks for our forwards, he looks for the runs. So he has a couple of games where he misses those passes. He has a couple of games where those things don't come off. And all of a sudden, he's a fraud. All of a sudden, the flaws, the cracks, all of a sudden, the other thing that was killing me, and I've been vocal on Twitter. I've been going around same things, finding people talking about his attitude hasn't been right. His head's been down during the loss, and I'm sitting there being like, okay, so wait, when we have a manager who smiles after a loss, or somebody who smiles after a loss, that's the wrong attitude. When Bruno hangs his head after a loss or after a bad pass, bad attitude. Which is it? Which is it? You need to pick a lane, because you either need him to show passion and not be happy about having a good game. Like if he has a bad game, of course he's not going to be happy. Cool, let him hang his head. But you cannot then slag him off and be like, yo, his attitude's not right. The energy's not there. He's not going at players on the pitch. Yo, I don't have time for it, because honestly, he has been our best player for.
And do you know what's interesting? The defense I often see for this is, yeah, Terry, but it's the same energy that Pogba got. I'm like, yeah, and we condemn that. So I have a real issue with human beings who see one man being treated badly and condemn it. But then when somebody else is treated badly, rather than say that's bad as well, they say, well, I'm going to join in on this one because my favorite guy over there got mistreated. That is the sign of a disgustingly horrible human being at your core. At your core, you're a dark, evil person. And you'll do that across all walks of life. I ain't got a lot of time for people like that. You know, I said it in the show that I did this morning when it comes to Bruno. He loses the ball too much. He loses the ball on average per game, exactly the same as KDB. But why is no one pulling that out? I've got the same energy to that arbitrary stat as I do towards that weird one they threw at Paul Pogba. Walking, 25% of the game walking. I only want to see that stat when you're showing me everybody else's so I can see how good or bad it is. If everybody else walks to 10% and Pogba's walking 25, you got a point. They're all walking 25%. Pogba's doing nothing wrong. But again, you don't want to put the stats out for everybody because it ruins your point. It destroys your narrative. Igal's on the line here. Man United have won. There isn't a massive feel-good factor. Cavani gets the goal. What did you make of Man United's performance as a rival today, mate?
I almost feel like I expect more from you guys than you guys expect from your own team now. Watching, because the Newcastle game, you guys went into that game thinking you're going to lose. I knew you guys were going to win. Today, you guys went into this game thinking you guys were going to lose. I knew you guys were going to end up winning this game. It's the games that you guys, when you guys start getting a run of games, that's when you guys get your hopes up, and that's when you guys get dropped down to reality. I think at times
you're coming from Arsenal fans.
No, I'm not coming from.
He's not wrong.
I'm trying to be balanced. Like you guys just won this game 3-1. None of you guys are smiling. It's like you guys lost this game. What's going on?
Because there's so much uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen. Like that's the problem.
I agree with that.
I don't get
behind the losing. I don't get behind this. So this is the one sport, guys, where there's no incentive to lose. So I will never ever be a fan when I watch a game of football, a game of Premier League football, and cheer for a loss. I just cannot get behind it. This is the only sport where you don't get incentive to be bad, so we can't be bad. Like KJ said it perfectly. Yeah. You cannot be upset about being on 15 points. I mean, being on 7 points, whatever, and then not want the points. You just can't. I'm
trying to rub my positive energy on you guys, but I understand where it's coming from.
I hear you. Like I'm very happy with one. I
celebrate all the goals. Well, actually,
I can enjoy
the second goal. First goal, I was still mad at the goal that we conceded.
And then like Tarzan scored a goal, so you guys should be happy.
The way it is, I can watch every other football match now this weekend and enjoy them all because my team has won. Mm-hmm. My issue is not with Ollie. I don't think Ollie is a good enough coach to make us Premier League champions. I no longer think there's a plan to do this cultural rebuild, so I don't think we need Ollie. Said this. But I'm just not convinced his board is going to do the right thing. If we win our next 2 or 3 games, Ollie's safe for months. But none of us think he's good enough. And this is where the Ollie outers who are like, mate, bring Poch in, fine. It'll all be fine after that. Bring Poch in, be fine. So you're mad. You literally, that's why you're nervous now after we've won, because you've gone, this board could do a U-turn on Poch. Then what happens if Poch ends up at PSG and then we can't get him when Ollie eventually does get sacked? That's bad planning.
We're not with Tuchel or something like that.
This will